Shit. World's coming to an end, guys. What's up? Hey, welcome to my seventh episode of Project Renaissance, man. Sorry about that. Shit. So, alright, there we go. So in this episode, I'm going to be discussing, the title of this episode is Rock Bottom Remedies. And this has everything to do with when we are in a slump and we feel like it's very hard for us to climb out of those slumps. So it's all about keeping the spirit strong when we feel the siege of defeat coming onto us. Most of us can weather the 1-2s that life throws at us. You know, the basic jab cross combo that come in the form of like snow and ice that need to be scraped off our cars, or getting a ketchup stain on our favorite shirt. But it's the haymakers that can keep us down. You know, the loss of a job, getting knocked out of or kicked out of school, losing a house, being dumped, losing a close friend or family member. You know, those sorts of things, the big things, the heavy things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys pointers on how to get right the fuck back up from those haymakers that life throws at you and when it plants you on your ass. And with that being said, the first pointer I'd like to give to you guys is acknowledge your arsenal with which you can make a change. With this mindset, you're basically realizing that you can change your situation. And through this acknowledgement, you are empowering yourself and giving yourself a chance at making a change and you know, getting yourself out of the situation that you're not happy to be in. So I'm going to give you guys an example. And this is an actual example. When I first moved into this new apartment that I have here, I had not too much money. You know, I only had enough really to cover my first month's rent. And so I had to swallow my pride and ask friends and family for help. And luckily enough, I got some help with, you know, through that. But it did not mean that I wasn't struggling here. I wasn't eating very well. There were times when I'd have maybe a piece of fruit or two in the refrigerator, or I'd have a can of beans or peanut butter and then just a loaf of bread so I could make peanut butter bread. So it was pretty rough. But I could have sat here, you know, on the air mattress and sulked about it and been like, damn, you know, I'm defeated, and just moped and maybe tried to get more help from people. But instead of doing that, I adopted this mindset that I'm speaking of, this mindset whereby I can change my situation. And I looked at my arsenal and I thought, well, I have a resource through my phone, so I can go to cafes, I can get online, and that's what I did. And I said I can find jobs, you know, I can look for jobs. That's something I can do. And so I went and I looked for work, and you know, it worked out. I ended up having plenty of job offers, and there were 2 interviews that I had. The other offers I declined, but the interviews that I had, both of those I nailed them, and I got both jobs. So it's a lot of it has to do with your mindset. You know, that's where it really begins. The second pointer I want to give you guys is to recognize the battles of others. This is going to remind you that you are not alone, and that there are some people that are fighting much harder battles than we are. So it's kind of nice to know that we're not the only ones, you know, that have our battles. And there are people that are fighting much bigger monsters than we are. So I'm going to provide an example of this as well. Actually, 2 examples. The first one is a couple weeks ago, there was this boy that was in a hospital, and he was pretty much on his way out. He was sick, and all he asked for was that people could send him a Christmas card. You know, anybody. He just wanted Christmas cards. And he wasn't going to make it to Christmas according to the prognosis. But that's what he wanted. And I was thinking to myself, if he had the time I have, whatever amount of time I have left, what would he do with that time? And right now, what would he do to have that time, you know? So I got to look at that and say, I got more time than this kid, so I can do so much more. You know, I have an opportunity to do things that this boy will never have an opportunity to do. So You know, it's a very powerful thing when you look at it that way. The second example I want to share with you guys is I was feeling pretty down in the dumps when I was working at this one store, and I thought to myself, a lot of it had to do with insecurities and stuff. So this girl walks into the store, and she's wearing a pair of shorts, and she's got a prosthetic leg. And this was really inspiring, and I know it sounds a little crazy, but let me explain. When she came in like that, I was thinking, I'm here all worked up about my own insecurities, building a wall around myself with these insecurities, which are causing me to not like miss out on opportunities big time because I'm too afraid to do certain things based on my insecurities. And this girl walks in extremely bold, you know, shows she could have wore a pair of pants and covered the prosthetic leg up, but no, she wasn't going to do that. And so there was a sense of admiration for that. You know, she shouldn't have to hide anything like that. And so it made me think of how vain I was, you know, when I was thinking about my own insecurities. And so it also made me realize that that girl's got a battle in her hands that I may never know. So, you know, and so the whole point is, maybe I didn't have a lot of food, but I had more time than some people, and I have both my legs. All right. And then the last pointer I want to share with you guys is go to the party. And this is a figurative, this has a figurative meaning to it, this phrase. And it's just my way of saying go out when you have an invite. A lot of times when we're in slumps, it's very common for us to be withdrawn and to stay inside and feel more protected that way and safer that way. But that's not always the best thing for us to do when our minds are not in the best of places. You know, minds are very dark and stuff. It's very important that we take advantage of these invites. I can tell you right now, almost every time I went out when I did not feel like it, I ended up coming back and was glad I did go out. It's seldom had I ever regretted going out when I wasn't feeling up to it. So get out there. If somebody invites you to a party, if somebody invites you out for coffee, you may not feel like going, but force yourself to go. I promise you, 9 times out of 10, you're going to feel better you did and be glad you did. I think that's all I got for the rock bottom remedies, guys. If you like this video and feel it has benefited you, please give it a like. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. And I will see you all on Wednesday. Peace.